Welcome back to the homestead. In this video I want to talk about compost, perhaps a very dry subject if you excuse the pun, but to us it's really important, particularly as we've now moved to a no-dig system for growing our vegetables. When we came here there was a couple of small compost piles which weren't covered, they weren't managed or maintained. They weren't really doing anything, if I'm honest. One, we've changed into a couple of terrace beds, which you've seen featured in other videos. And the other, I dismantled, and the remnants of it I kind of used to make last year's compost. And some of it we've spread elsewhere. It was very matted and, like I say, not managed. Compost needs managing, but it doesn't need to be difficult. And I guess that's the point of this video. I kind of want to show you what we've done around here. A lot of it is kind of temporary in terms of structures and locations, but the actual, I don't know, I want to call it an art rather than a science, but it's a bit of both, I suppose. It's one of those things that's a bit of both. But it doesn't need to be difficult, it doesn't need to be complicated. You can watch 100 videos and people make it look like magic on YouTube, and it's not. You just need to follow a few simple rules, and you know, get it there or thereabouts. And I think I'll show you those. You'll pick them up. I might not point them out directly, but you'll pick them up from the sort of consistent things that I say when we look at each pile and what's happened. So let's get on and do that, I guess. Let's look at the first pile. Let's concentrate on what we've been doing here and the results, and then go from there. So this is kind of our main compost area, I guess, what it is at the moment anyway. So there was a compost area over there which was very badly sort of managed. It wasn't managed at all really, it wasn't covered and it didn't really do anything. So we separated that out and we put a pile of that here, and then the other half of it we kind of layered with new green stuff and the pig manure from the pigs that we kept here. So that was the old stuff, there's the new. I layered it here. It was about this high when we originally started, and you can see it's gone down a lot now. And then over here we put the rest of the pig manure with a load of cabbage leaves from the harvest and the neighbour's harvest, and we layered that here. Yeah, you would have seen this on a previous video as well. You can see that's nicely gone down, and that was cold composting, so we weren't aiming to get really hot there. Just cold compost, and it's gone down slowly. This is an old Russian bed frame which we use to filter the compost just to get the real big lumps out. We're not looking for super fine. It's not really for potting compost. I have got a finer filter for that, and then that will just get regurgitated back into another compost pile next year. Over in the background there, that is a pile of pure pig manure with the straw mixed in, which we just had excess, so we just piled it on its own and it's rotted down nicely. You can see actually it's self-seeded with some pumpkins or squash or something. It's not going to fruit anything because we've had a shocking summer, so, but whatever that is, it really enjoys it, and we'll incorporate that back into our compost system this autumn or next year maybe. So let's take a closer look at some of these composts, and you can see the sort of textures and what we've got going a bit closer in. So this is the pig manure layered with some leaves and the cabbage leaves, so dried leaves, brown leaves, and the fresh green cabbage leaves layered with pig manure. You can see now it's nicely broken down. We didn't turn it, it's just a cold compost. We didn't actually, there's a bit of string there, we didn't even cover it. So this summer it's broken down nicely. So this is our new compost that we've used most of this year. It's nearly all gone now. and there's some big sticks and chunks in there, but that's no problem. But quite a nice fine compost once it's filtered down. And this was just from gardening waste, and so there's no manure in here, just garden waste really, a few leaves, stuff like that. So this is kind of the oldest compost that's on the land now, and this is stuff which I've only really half been involved. So I've taken what was from that old pile I mentioned earlier, which wasn't really doing much, and sort of finished it off. But yeah, that's worked well for us. So this is the pig manure, just a pure pile of the manure itself with the straw, etc. And you can see that's all nicely broken down now, well rotted, and we'll be able to take advantage of that and bring it into our compost system this year. Lots of fertility, which is great. And I've just seen down here there is one little squash, which is nice. So maybe there's a couple more around. Oh yeah, there's one over there as well. That's lovely. So we're now at the back of the compost area, the new one this year, and I've not taken this off yet, so I'm going to take this cover off and have a look at the compost that we got, which has been cold composted. There's a red ant's nest down there, to be careful of that. But as you can see, this looks really nice compost. It's really well, nice and fine. It's going to be really great it looks ready, so it's going to be great to get it onto the market garden beds, ready for autumn or for winter. Let's just cover that back over until we're ready to use it. So this is the sort of compost that's all ready to use. Let's go and have a look at a couple of piles that we're working on for this year, ready for next year, and talk a bit more about how we built them and our plans for the future in terms of compost generation. So this is one new pile here that I've been working on, which is predominantly made from some grass clippings, a bit of garden waste, and some leaves. I've just freshly turned this yesterday, so I'm not expecting super warm miracles out of this quite yet, but the next couple of days there will be. And I've also inoculated this with a Bacillus lactobacillus. So it's all the nice bacteria mixed with a sugary substance, brown sugar, ideally molasses, but I can't get that here. So this is all inoculated with lots of good microbes, and in the next few days I'm expecting this to really heat up. I'm not going to get super obsessed with hot compost, but it's something I would like to have a go at. Obviously we have very cold winters here, so like I say, I can't expect too much, but if I can get some heat out of it, that would be really great. And then what we'll do with this pile in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to dig out the rest of the manure from the pig shed. It's still loads in there, which is difficult to access when the pigs were in there. And then we'll probably layer that with this to let that slowly compost over the winter, ready for next year. So I've got one more hot pile on the other side, so we'll go and look at that next as well. So this is our other composting area. This is predominantly where the kitchen waste goes. So we have a lot of kitchen scraps in here, fruit and veg, and we also use grass clippings will go in here as well, and we will find some carbon rich materials as well, so some dried grass, straw, hay, some dried out stuff from around the garden. I don't get super obsessed with the browns and greens mix as long as it's roughly right. There is an absolute science to it, but I think that's probably a step too far. You could become super obsessed about it. You know, at the end of the day it works and we get compost. So everything goes into this side first, and then it goes into that side. Obviously we don't have roofs on any of our compost piles, so we have to cover them with these tarps. But nothing used to be covered here, and this is a real game changer actually covering it. It makes a big difference in terms of control of moisture. Obviously you need your compost piles wet, but not soaking wet. So because the oxygen needs to flow through them. So let's just have a look in here. Again, this is kind of freshly turned. It has been fairly hot when I turned it previously. It was up to 55 degrees centigrade. So we'll see what we've got today, and I'll take the cover off and have a look at the thermometer. I don't know if you can see that there, that's just coming up to 35 degrees. So again, this was turned yesterday, so some fresh glass clippings put into it. That feels warm. I can feel the warmth through that. So again, I'm expecting this to go up to sort of 50, 55 or more in the next 2 or 3 days. This has not been inoculated. This is all through its own merits. But yeah, pleased with that. Okay, let's take the covers off of this compost pile. I've not had a good chance to look at this either. This is just all the stuff from last year layered on to cold compost down, and it's been here over summer. Yeah, that's really nice. Lots of sticks in there, as you can see, but we'll filter those out. But in terms of, you know, organic material, and there's worms in there as well, which that is really good to see. Yeah, pleased with that. So there's about another, I guess, couple of cubic meters, depending on where you are in the world. Yeah, really pleased with that. Let's put the cover back on to stop it getting too waterlogged. So the compost area, the one we were looking at first of all, is just behind me now. And thinking about strategy, I suppose. I never thought the day would come when I'll be talking about compost strategies, but here we are. This is here. We've got the barn just in front of us, and the market garden is way over there, about 150 yards over there. So, and we have no composting over there. So we kind of really need to rethink. We've kind of got the way we make compost going well, but we need to think about location, because it's not particularly practical to lump compost from here over to there, which we'll do a lot of at this time of year. It needs about 3 wheelbarrow loads per bed to give it an okay covering. Clearly you won't generate that much compost this year, but there's a longer plan involved here in terms of regeneration. So we need to think carefully about where we locate our compost patches. Compost is required for the flower beds as well, just in front of the house here. So we probably will keep the kitchen scraps area there and use that for here, and also for the greenhouses as well. So we need to think about that. We need to probably end up building a big compost area over there. Whether we'll go for a full kind of kit and caboodle. I think someone called Charles Dowding's area the Buckingham Palace of compost piles, which is, whether we'll go that far I don't know, but certainly we can go for something with a bit more permanence to it, now that our permanent growing area is over there in terms of our market garden. Yeah, so lots of things to think about. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's been of some use, and you feel somehow inspired to persevere, because one of the things I've found when I'm watching the videos on YouTube, you see all these people making this perfect compost, and there's no such thing really as a perfect compost. To us it's perfect because it comes from everything around us. Everything we generate, we turn it into compost. When we mow the lawns, it's no longer a chore, it's a way to generate compost. It's as simple as that. So it's perfect for us, but it won't be perfectly like you would buy bags from a garden centre. That's what they want you to believe compost should look like, and that you can only get it from there. But of course you can't you don't have to only get it from there. You can get it from right where you are if you're prepared to put a bit of work in. So persevere, be inspired, make compost. If you've got any ideas and we could maybe improve things, then please let us know. We are looking at chickens, both from a point of view of having eggs, but from generating compost. I'll keep you posted about that, probably not till next year now, but they will form part of a future plan for generating more compost. And obviously keep an eye out on our channel for when we do decide to build a bigger compost area. It could be next week, who knows. I will be sure to video that. Thanks for watching, thanks for watching the channel, thanks for sticking around with us, thanks for your thumbs ups and your support and your comments. We really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Bye for now.